Out of all the things Fire Emblem has been doing right lately, we still don't have personal classes done correctly yet, in my opinion. Hi everybody, it's Wisp, and I wanted to talk today about personal classes. Something that Fire Emblem kind of, sort of does for major characters, maybe. RPGs have always had personal classes. Some games go as far as to give each character one class, and that's their class. I don't think that necessarily works for Fire Emblem, but I do think that we should by now have the capability for every character, let's say 40, because that's sort of a standard number for Fire Emblem games. 40 characters. No one should have to be the same class. Two things that we need to do. One, go back to the three-tiered system, and two, make a magic triangle come back. Magic triangle being wind, fire, and lightning, where maybe lightning beats wind, wind beats fire, fire beats lightning. Don't understand why those would work, but it would work. There's a precedent for it. And then you have light and dark. Just like how you have swords, axes, bows, like just make elemental magic its own separate weapon category or weapon type. Alright, so now you got three-tiered classes. You start off as a mage, a soldier, a myrmidon, whatever it is. And when you class up into a sword master, and I'll make a graphic here because people love my graphics. A sword master uses swords, but you're better at it. Or maybe your character doesn't class up into a sword master, but into a hero, which is swords and axes. So if we got swords, axes, lances, bows, fists, shurikens, and then we've got lightning, wind, fire, light, and dark magic. We're sitting at 11 right there. And of course, there will be a couple of dragons and a couple of beasts. And then the main character will probably be their own class that might be some sort of a mixture, right? But we're looking at roughly 11 classes for roughly 40 characters. I'll just make it 10 and 40. If you have 4 people in each starting class, 4 fire mages, 4 sword users, 4 axe users. Seems like a lot. But if each guy classes up into 2 different things, swords can either be a sword master or a hero, which is swords and axes. Okay. Now we're starting to diversify. There's only 2 in each category. And now, if you're a sword master, the 2 sword masters get a third tier. One of them is a true blade, and they can use like the legendary sword. Like there's only one of this sword in the whole game. And the other one is a mortal savant, and mortal savant uses sword and lightning. They have different. One person is in each class. And then you get into bows. If you're a bowman, 2 of you turn into snipers and 2 of you turn into horse knights. Horse knights are bowmen with swords on horses, and snipers are bowmen with they're better with bows. But then you class up again. One of you is a ranger with a bow and wind, and the other one might be a distance specialist. Maybe they're a ballistician. They're only bows, but they're a whole like ballistician now. You can get each character their own like personalized class, and the reason I think that's so important to do, and I think there should be one exception to that, and that should be that one light mage and one dark mage both go to Grimory. But the light mage is using their light magic and then dark magic to help heal, and the dark mage is using their dark magic and they're using light and kind magic to hurt. Other than that, I think we should all get unique classes. And there won't be enough EXP for every character to get to every class each run. But you can either add on grinding DLCs like you've had since Awakening, or we can just do a thing where, hey, sometimes not everyone can be perfect. Like, these are the best of the best. You only get like 6 of them. A lot of EXP, so only like the Lord, the secondary Lord, like the Lord, maybe one of the secondary characters, and then like 6 other people can actually get to that class. Few people are going to get that far, and they're going to be your front line, and then you have to use the rest of them to be like a strong unit or something. Unpopular opinion, but Fire Emblem forcing you to kind of build a team where very few of them are able to be OP or even maximized would kind of be a dream to me. Maybe since you can't block out EXP, you can just put in a limited number of tier 3 items those tier 3 items being something that you get 8 of, that you get like 5 of throughout the game, and then like 3 characters always maximize promote. The other 5 you pick. You get everybody to level 20, but only like 8 characters are actually tier 3. They're going to be the front lines, and the rest of them, you still have to use the other characters for one reason or another, but they're not going to be maximized. You need to really think about it and figure out what you want to do with them. That's what I want with the games. I want it to go heavy into the strategy of not just who you use and where and when, but we're going to limit you on who can actually promote up to their last form. And okay, I know that one's not going to be popular, but the second thing that I want, or maybe another direction that I want with it, is for tier 3 classes, still personalized, to be part of supports. Certain characters, like in Three Houses, Felix talks a lot about his sword and swordsmanship, and Zoltan. He doesn't technically have to be a swordsman, but we all kind of know what he is. But if there was a character who was the mortal savant of this game, and they became a sword and lightning caster, maybe we see in some of their supports. I mean, Three Houses did story locked supports. Maybe this character can only access those supports once they reach that class, and they actually talk about being that class. Like, they talk about how they learned to use lightning while they were with their blade. Or even if it's not in the supports, it's very tied to their lore. Like, it's a character who comes from a family of mages and they never learned how to get in touch with their magic, but their sword helped them get in touch, or things like that. Like, obviously I just went for like the most obvious and the most basic examples, but those are my thoughts, where it's like I really want to see the final class of a character be core to the person. So sure, in the game there are several swordsmen, but there is one mortal savant, and that is this person. That is like their title. This isn't something that I want for every single Fire Emblem game, because even if you can only pick like 2 or 3 routes for a character, they have like at most like 4 or 5 final classes. People want that freedom to pick and to change and to get skills from each class and then go back to different classes, and I think it's great and it's fun and that's good. I just want like one game where the character's class is very unique and very personal and specific to them. And I know instead of that, Fire Emblem has personal skills, but the personal skills don't show growth. So even if their personal classes aren't going to be one for one person, I still want tier 3 classes, because tier 3 classes means you are progressing and growing throughout the whole game. So that's where I'll put it. I'll say hope number 1 is tier 3 classes. Layer number 2 is the split magic, where you got all the different elements. And then layer 3, like the this isn't happening one, is one class, one character. It's an evolution of their personal skill. Whatever your personal skill is, leads you to your personal class. And the last point I'll make is kind of a concession, right? Because not a lot of people are going to want the personal classes. I know that's not like a popular idea. That's kind of an out there thing. But the personal skill, maybe what we do is we have tier 3 classes, and still not everybody's going to get to tier 3. Still make it hard. But once you get to tier 3, your personal skill evolves. So hypothetically, anybody could be a True Blade, or like at least like 6 people could be True Blades. But by hitting tier 3, each character's personal skill evolves and makes them unique from each other. And that way you're rewarded, and the characters that you use the most have something special and unique about them. But also, with the 3 tiers, you're growing throughout the game. There's never a point where all your characters are maxed, which a lot of older Fire Emblem games kind of have that hit like halfway through, where you're kind of done growing and all you can do is try to find better weapons. Find better weapons and get better with strategies, which is fine, but the constant growth and the enemies constantly growing as well is what I really want to see. So those are just some thoughts that I'll put together more concisely. But man, imagine someone that like uses axes and fists. Like, they just shelve their axe and just start punching you around. There's some great things you could do, and if it's tied to your character, so it's very story focused, characters can call you out for your like weird bullcrap that you do in these games. I think it would be a lot of fun. All right. Until next time, I really do hope you chew on the idea. Maybe you hate it at first, maybe you love it at first, but come back, talk about it, think about it. I don't know.